Hi, everyone. Welcome to CJS 170, which is Introduction to Corrections. I am your professor for this class or for this particular section. I'm Mr. Wheaton. So, right now, what you're seeing, other than me in the corner, hopefully, is you are seeing the course syllabus. And so, just real quickly, this is the intro to this class. I'm just going to briefly go over the main parts of the syllabus in this short video. And then there'll be more information as we go through the actual course lectures. So right here on the first page, other than, my name, Mr. Wheaton, credit hours, this is my office phone number, 814-413-7033. Feel free to call that. It does get forwarded to me. But the best way to always get a hold of me is by email. Typically, give me 24 hours to answer an email. If I don't get back to you within 24 hours, send me another email, poke me sometimes. I get lost with a bunch of emails. But this class itself is all online, but I do have a physical office location at our West Campus in room 215. But I have regular office hours even when I'm not at the office. These are for you. This is student office hours. With some odd exceptions of particular meeting days, which if they are, I will let you know when those are. But typically during the week, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., if you need to get a hold of me, you are not interrupting me, you are not bothering me. That is my time that I set aside for you. Anything outside of the 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., I'll try my best to get a hold of you and get back to you, but typically, unless it's an absolute emergency, if it's outside of that time, kind of just wait. At least me in responding. So, real quick, the whole point of this class is to give you an introduction to the concept of the corrections. This looks at correction facilities, types of theories behind corrections, and what that looks like. So, this is your introduction to that. For some of you, this might actually be, the career path you want to go into. Some of you, you might already be in corrections, and others never heard of it, don't really know what it's about, and so you're learning about it here. So that's the whole point. Realistically, our topical outline, pretty straightforward, goes by kind of the books. History of corrections, philosophy behind corrections and how they deal with things. Talk about inmates, talk about facilities, laws that are related to it, influences on corrections as a whole, and issues within the system itself. And then our last week, we'll talk about career path, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. We have two texts for this class, Intro to Corrections by Wymore and Raber. Both of these books are free online OER, online educational resources. They do have their own link on Blackboard, and I'll show that here in just a moment. So our two texts, the primary text is Intro to Corrections, and our secondary text is Correctional Case Management by Sunshine Richards. We'll get all into that. Standard grading scale across the board throughout the whole college. Here are the points and the things that you will be doing in this class. So there will be 4 total quizzes throughout this class. Not every week, but there will be 4 total quizzes worth 25 points each. There will be 3 what-if scenarios. It's to kind of put you in the mind of you're in a correctional facility. How do you deal with this problem? So those will be 25 points each, 3 of them, 75 points. You will have a final exam. I'm not going to do a midterm for this class because the what if and the quizzes should kind of build upon that. Going to possibly have some non-point discussions trying to get some engagement. But there will be weekly discussion boards, 7 total worth 10 points each. We'll talk about what that looks like here in a minute. The rest of the syllabus, for the most part, is the standard that you see across the board in all your classes. Respect agreement, mission statement, attendance expectations, because this is an online class. There's not, attendance, but you do have to complete work by their due date. I try to make it available to you as quickly as humanly possible. As you see, important dates: withdrawn incomplete. April 10th, Monday, our second semester, or our second 8 weeks begin. And so, you're taking the class, so that's when it begins. Last day to drop with 100% refund is Wednesday the 12th. Last day to add any classes is that day. Monday, April 17th is the day where I have to verify who has participated. If you have not participated in our class by Monday, April 17th, you will be dropped. Wednesday, April 19th is your last day to drop with a 50% refund. Midterm, which means nothing to you, but it means something to me for grades, is May 7th. That's Sunday. So by May 8th, whatever you have in the class will be posted to the college itself. May 17th is the last day to withdraw with a W grade. May 29th is Memorial Day, so the school is technically closed. But Monday, June 5th is the last class, the very last one. So your last week goes all the way up till then. And then final grades are due June 10th. So there's a couple leeway there. After 75% of the course is completed and you're doing fairly well, you're in good standing, and something comes up where you cannot complete the course, we have what is called an incomplete. All it means is that you and I have worked out an agreement for you to have a sufficient and appropriate amount of time to complete the work so you can finish the class. But that is really for extreme circumstances, things that are not typical. So if you feel like you might be in that position, realistically, you should be contacting me right around May 17th. Between that and May 26th, that 2-week span should be when you're contacting me if you think this is going to be something you need. Standard ADA statement. If you need accommodations, please reach out to Andrea Campbell, who is our college counselor and works as the disabilities counselor as well. So she's the person to talk to. Veteran Services, we're not into the system yet, but Dean of Students can help you with things like that. Basic needs security statement. If you need help, feeding, transportation, things like that, we can't directly help you, but we can put you in touch with services that are out there. Let us know. Again, Dean of Students, or you can contact me as well. Anyway, so let's get right into what the weeks look like. So our first week starts, again, Monday. So this week, we will talk about History of Corrections, which is Chapter 1 of Text 1 and Unit 1 of Text 2. So Text 1 is our primary textbook. Text 2 is our secondary. They are identified on Blackboard in that way. And then the things that are due by, and I know there aren't dates here, but they're due by Sunday night of that week, so 4/16 by 11:59 p.m. So the first week we'll have a discussion board and a quiz. Week 2, Philosophy of Corrections, will just be a discussion board. Week 3 is talking about inmates. Notice chapters 3, 6, 8, and 9 of Text 1. So some of these weeks have multiple chapters, some don't. We'll talk about all that as we go. But notice our first what-if scenario is in week 4, so don't have to worry about that too much, but yeah, that's where we're getting to. One thing to note, please note this wonderful highlighted area. Influences on corrections. Our texts don't have like a dedicated section to it. So as we get closer, probably in like week 5 or week 6, I'll identify to you what parts of the chapters to read. But there will be specific like outside readings available in the week 6 folder on Blackboard for you for those readings. And there'll be just a discussion board that week. And then same thing all throughout. Like I said, career choice, chapter 10 of Text 1, unit 1 and 4 of Text 2, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but we'll have our last discussion board and final exam. The final exam will be due technically no later than the 8th of June, which is after the official last day of class. But again, that's later. We'll worry about that later. That's the syllabus, pretty straightforward. So let's come over to Blackboard. So as you see, this is my Blackboard when I log in. I see my classes here. So I'm teaching these 3. I'm going to click on ours, Intro to Corrections. All right. And so real quickly, so start here. Please always start in the Start Here folder in particular. So this has our syllabus here, which if you click on it, will pull up the same thing I already showed you. And then, as I said, Text 1 and Text 2, primary textbook, secondary. So when I say text 1, it'll be this one. When I say text 2, it's this one. I tried to make it as clear as possible. I will try to put links to it in our course content folder. As of right now, you do not see this course specific content. Major assignment sheets and stuff like that will always show up here. And then weekly folder, each week, if you've been in an online class here, you know you have a week for each content. So week 1, history of corrections, there'll be a discussion board, a quiz, lecture video, and notes. Please note at the time of recording, it is currently empty, but content will populate this folder soon, including this. But yeah, that's it. That is what you can look forward to. To wet your whistle a little bit. Corrections is all about the stuff after the court case, after sentencing. It's all the stuff afterwards. It's so many different components. A lot of corrections looks at facilities and how they deal with inmates, and so we are going to talk about those things. But yeah, this is going to be exciting. I warn you, first one will tend to be boring because it's history. But if you love history, awesome, you're not going to be bored. But I know a lot of people kind of get bogged down in history. So once we start talking about the philosophy of corrections and how inmates are, it'll get more interesting. So if you're like, first week, you're like, oh, I hate this, please stick through it at least to week 2, then figure out where you want to go. But that's all I got for you. Course is available to you all. Like I said, at the time of recording, the week 1 content is not in there, but it will be as soon as humanly possible. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you all in my first lecture video.